Sh for Chardonnay and Sh for Shah-blee. So by now you know that the French like to pronounce their CH as sh rather than ch. Shah-blee is a fairly large appellation situated between Paris and Dijon in the region of Bourgogne, which we more commonly know as Burgundy. Now, Shah-blee is a very important appellation and a very important wine because it is widely considered an absolute classic. It's probably among the first family of wines and is most commonly found on wine lists across the restaurants or in wine shops. It's in fact impossible to build a wine cellar without having a few good bottles of Shah-blee. What makes Shah-blee unique is firstly its soil. It's got the oyster, fossily sort of soils, which is known as skimmeridgian soils, that give the wines a very unique terroir-driven character. Plus Shah-blee, because it's in the northern limits of Bourgogne, the climate there is fairly cool and is subject to a lot of vagaries year after year. Every year, the wine in the bottle is an expression of the growing conditions for that year. The Shah-blee we're going to taste today is the Bouchard Aine Fils. This is a lovely Chardonnay, and it's 100% Chardonnay, guys, because all Shah-blee is 100% Chardonnay. It's very important you know that. And this one is from a wine producer who's been making wines for the last 3 centuries. So he's been around since the 1750s, extremely established, very prestigious across the Shah-blee region. And the company is owned and is part of the Bouchard collection of wine companies, which is among the largest and the most prominent wine group in France. All right, so I'm really very excited to taste the Shah-blee, and I'm pouring it in my glass now. And even as I pour, I see that it's got this lovely golden color. It's got this, it's a really rich color actually. It's very inviting to look at. On the nose again, the nose is ripe. It is quite a supple, inviting nose. I get lots of ripe, peachy, fleshy, white and yellow fruit. There's that distinct minerality which you expect out of a Shah-blee to come through. So that's actually quite lovely. It's making the nose quite complex and intriguing. And on the top layer of this wine, there's this lovely flowery note, which is what brings out the elegance of a good and a well-made Shah-blee. There's this lovely floral note sitting right at the top of my glass, which is quite lovely. I'm going to taste this wine. On the palate, I get some vanilla notes coming through, which is again making the wine quite delicious. And again, all the things that were on the aromas are very vividly present on the palate. There is that minerally finish, there's a little bit of that perfume floral note on the palate, there's the ripeness of the peach fruit that's coming through, that's making this wine again quite soft and round, and it's really quite easy drinking. In terms of personality, this is a classic. So it's, I like to describe this as a fresh, energetic, bright, yet a very elegant and a classic wine. So it's quite delicious. In terms of price point, the price of this wine is 4,000 rupees. Now, at face value, that may sound like a lot, but let me tell you, Shah-blee is a very important appellation and quite a brand in itself. So a lot of top Shah-blees around the world, they can fetch quite a bit of a premium in terms of price. And I have to say 4,000 rupees in relativity in India is a good value for money buy, because this is among the well-priced Shah-blees available in India. In terms of foods, I can think of enjoying this with a lot of creamy pasta, some baked dish, maybe some salted nuts, something delicate, not too overpowering, but you can go with creamy because there's quite a bit of acidity on this wine, which will help cut through the fatty layers in your food quite nicely. So that's the kind of wine that you should try and pair it with. But I would still stick to, more shellfish or prawns or lobsters, more white meat kind of, dishes. And of course, you can pair it with any amount of vegetarian food. It would be wonderful with that. I'm actually looking forward to enjoying the Shah-blee on my next, Friday game night or a ladies' night, maybe a nice intimate ladies' night with a bunch of friends. or over your next Zoom party even, you know. So I hope you're going to raise a glass of the Bouchard Aine Fils Chablis in anticipation of great times to come. And on that note, cheers to you.